Welcome. This presentation is about building real-time an application, serverless application on top of Firebase. My name is Otso Juntunen. I represent the cloud platform business in the Nordic market. I'm a non-techie, a business guy, and I'm here with a walking, talking Firebase developer called Jerry.
Yes. Just one more second. There we go. Oh, hello. Let me just grab this here. Yes, my name is Jerry. I'm a senior system architect in a company called Qvik here in Helsinki. And I'm also a Google Cloud developer expert. So mainly my job is to go around the world and tell about Google Cloud Platform features and build stuff on it in my daily job and in my free time. And that's what I enjoy.
Very good, thanks, Jerry. I have a challenge for you. So in the previous talk from Matt, thanks.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. We heard quite a lot of Firebase, so I would like to see how it works in practice. So I have a challenge for you. There's this nice application called Twitter.
Yep.
You know, make me one.
Sure.
You know, I need it now.
Okay. Challenge accepted. Previously I would have said that you're crazy in this timeline building anything that actually works or doesn't work.
Closer.
Nah, it's okay. I'll eat it same time. So, quick overview what we were going to tell. You don't need to know this anymore. You already heard a lot from Matt. Firebase is an expansive set of tools available for you. And on this time, as Otso said, a social messaging platform. Thank you. Challenge accepted. Let's do that. For that, we're going to use Firebase real-time database, Firebase hosting, Firebase authentication, and Firebase maybe something else. We'll see.
Yeah, so we have half an hour, so are your fingers now warm?
Yeah,
Yeah?
we can.
So starting
Of course,
now.
as we are in a limited time, we will cut some corners over here, but you can also follow us, participate, go with our Twitter platform that we're going to build, and also later on you can build this yourself at your home or here. It only takes a couple of minutes to set it up. You're really good to go. First things first, whenever we want to do a Firebase project, what we need is a project itself. So you have to create an account. So you go to firebase.google.com, you set up an account, and then you land up in your console. From your console, you select your platform where you want to build, your mobile platform or web, and in that, you create your project, you set a name, you get your API keys, and you're good to go. So, let's get started. Let's deploy something to the wild, wild web. Let's see what we can do. So over here, I have a checkout of the source code that is available in the previous link. And it has been broken down to different branches for different features. So this is the way that I said that we're going to skip some parts here and there to actually make this happen. But there is the step information that tells us what to do next. I'm going to skip one, and we're going to just jump straight to deploy. So what we're going to do here on the deploy, we are basically packaging up all our static assets, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, and then we're going to deploy them to Firebase hosting. Firebase hosting gives you a really great HTTP2 powered static hosting website. So you get immediately TLS security and CDN level of achievement. So you don't have to worry about scaling or whatsoever, and you don't have to set up any Apache server or Nginx servers. You're just good to go after running one command. So let's see what we just did here. Let's take up our browsers. And there we go. We can see that we deployed something. We just deployed static HTML text.
Yeah, but that's not the URL I wanted to have.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, we can fix that. If you want custom URLs, that's as simple as going back to your console. Oh, where did I go? There we go. Going back to your console, clicking Connect Custom Domain, input your domain, and then you verify your ownership to that domain, and what you get is free TLS, and that's you're good to go. Then that custom domain will point to your Firebase hosting. As simple as that. It took a couple of minutes, and you're good to go. Again, no server setup needed.
But how can we? Okay, now, now it's not right domain. But how can I log in?
Oh, that's a good thing. But Matt already told you, so you can anticipate that what we're going to use is Firebase Authentication. With Firebase Authentication, what you get is automated, secured for you, ready-made platform. So you can do your social loggings automatically, like social providers like Google, Facebook, Twitter, GitHub, and then also you can do username, password credentials, and your custom login methods. But what's good about it is that Firebase takes care of all the security for you. It takes care of all this connection to these external services, so you don't have to manage that at all. You don't have to worry about Facebook updating their APIs or Twitter chasing their OAuth2 specification for 1.2.0. So that's all free for you from Firebase. And as I said, it's secure.
Sounds very easy. How do you do that?
Sure, let's see how we start that. In Firebase console, again, you go there to the authentication tab. In there, you select the providers that you want to use. In this case, we want to use Google Authentication. So we just go there, select the Google Authentication, and click Enable. For Facebook, etc., in this same dialog, you would input your Facebook page ID, all the API keys, etc., that you're needed, and then the Firebase will take care of the rest. So that's simple.
Very good.
You want to see it in action?
Yeah, I want to see it. You know, time is ticking. I want to see my Twitter.
Yes, let's go for it. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna check out step 2. Almost come right from this angle. Okay. Now we see our code. It's there. Welcome to part 2. So here, it tells you first the instructions to go to the console and actually enable your authentication method. And after that, we need to deploy some Firebase database rules. So as you learned, there is this Firebase real-time database, which is this NoSQL database platform, where you can store your data in JSON tree-like structure. But what it also has is security rules. So you can tighten who actually has access to which node, etc. So here we want to actually store our user information for later use. So we deploy some rules that no one else can read your data, and also only you can write and update your data. So that's what we did as a first step. And again, I'm going to skip the local deployment, and we're just going to deploy these new changes to the cloud. And after this deployment, we'll see how it works, and after that, I'll show you how it works from code. So, yes, luckily these internets almost work. So,
I love it when it says that it may take several minutes, but it took like 2 seconds.
Yes. So again, real fast, easy deployments. So now, there we are. We have a bit more DOM code in our demo, and there's these sign-in buttons available for us now. So what we do, when we click the sign-in, we get this automated pop-up. We haven't coded this. It comes straight from Firebase. You don't need to do anything about it. No matter which authentication provider you use, Facebook, GitHub also, everything is integrated. So I'm gonna log in here as my own self, and then on the another window, I'm gonna log in as my another account. Please don't spam those emails aloud. They are full already. So here we logged in really seamlessly, and we have profile picture, name, and we are good to go. And now I'm gonna show you how that was done. So how does it work? First of all, we wanna bind, in our JavaScript, we wanna bind our button there, that we had that sign-in button, we wanna bind an action to it. So whenever user clicks it, we check whether you are logged in or not. If you are logged in, we log you out. If you are not logged in, we can see that we select the Google provider, Google Out provider, and then we just call the sign up with pop-up method with that provider, and that's it. That's all that we need to do for the sign-in flow itself to happen. But as I said, we want to store that user data somewhere when that user logs in. So we define another method somewhere in our code. Whenever the authentication state changes, this function gets called, gets triggered. If the user is not there, it means the user has logged out. But if the user is there, we can access all this information from that user, from that single point. There's some pre-structured information, and then there's different provider specific information available. Oh. Sorry. Go ahead. Yes.
Okay, but hey, very good. So now you have an application that doesn't do much. You can do authentication. How about my Twitter?
Oh yeah, the Twitter. Yeah, of course. Twitter wouldn't be Twitter if you can't send messages. So let's take in the real-time database even more deeply. So what we're gonna do is we want to store all our user messages, and also we want to make a reference to our own messages for later use. So in example that I could delete them, or I can calculate how many messages I have done. And I'll show you how easy it is. And also with the real-time database, one good benefit that you get is the offline support out of the box. So I don't have to worry about the flaky internet. When I'm posting messages or you're answering to my message, when you get back online, they will eventually come there. So eventually, if you build it, they will come. Old saying, but let's see how this actually works. So for this, I'm gonna check out the next version. There we go. And now if we check out the code, we are on fire. Good. So again, it requires us to deploy some database rules. I can actually quickly show you what those rules are while we are deploying them. So the database rules are, for me right now, I'm defining them here. Not that. Yep. I have to change my codes also, as now they are visible. So this is what Firebase database rules look like. What we define here, can everybody see it? I'm gonna plus it a little bit more. So what we say here, by default we say that no one is allowed to read, no one is allowed to write anywhere in our database. Then we make some exceptions. We have our users node where we want all of our users' information to reside, this private information. And inside that users node there will be another node which is the unique identifier of each of our users. And for that different object that we store underneath that ID, we want to say that if you are actually the authenticated user and owner of that node, you are able to read and write to that. So you are the only one to be able to currently read and write your own data inside that node. Then we have the messages node that we just added. In here we want to collect all of our messages. Same then as all the chat messages go to the chat node, here we have a messages node that we collect all the messages. So here we want everybody in the world to read this. Everyone is allowed to read these messages. But only if you are authenticated user, you are actually able to write to this. And then we want to do some validation. So whenever user creates a new message, we want to validate that it has certain fields. And this Firebase does this for us inside the rules. And then there's another node where we store a copy of that message as my own message, which only I can read and write. This is for later use cases. So let's move on. Again, I'm not going to run it locally to save time, but we're going to deploy the whole shebang again to the cloud. And now this is the part that it gets interesting. You can participate also. So you can come. Let's see.
So what's the URL?
Yes. fellow.backender.io. I can show it one more time. Even better. It's fellow. I named your Twitter, by the way, Firebase Hello. So there we go. We now have an option to actually post messages. And I will do quick first one. I always want to be first. Let's see if I can be. Yes. Nah. There you go. But yeah, definitely I welcome anyone who's available with their mobile phone to go to fellow.backender.io and just post their message. We can see that it can handle traffic. Yes, thank you. We got rock and roll. It actually works, and as you can see,
we're
it's
doing
real
Twitter.
time.
It's like 14 minutes and counting. We have a Twitter available.
Yeah. And now we're good to go. Can we go now?
No. I wanna
Yeah.
do something more.
Let's see. Let's first of all, I want to show you how that was done. So, how does that work? First, what we want to do is we get a reference. Again, we get a reference to our database, to that particular messages node. And from that reference node, we want to collect, give me all the latest 15 items. And whenever a new child is added, notify me by this function. Like call this function whenever a new child is added. Also, if someone has modified their message or something modified that message, please notify me about that so we can update the UI. So in these lines on these 3 dots, what we would actually do is write that DOM node, insert it into our web page. That's pretty much all that happens inside those 3 dots. So I left it out. It's no logic for related to the Firebase. But how do we create a message? So here's just a simple example of wrapping up this create method function. And in here, we define our message object, this MSG. We say that we want to save our user ID, which is the unique identifier for each of our users. We want to say the display name, the username, also to that post. Then we want to save the profile image of that user to that post object. And then we set the body, whatever the user wrote as a message, to that message object. And then we're going to ask Firebase, give us a unique key. Now this is something that you don't necessarily need to do when you're just saving a single object, one object at a time. But now we want to get a message, a new unique key for this message, for this particular point of time. So this is really important. It's a key that is actually unique in this particular point of time. So in example, if we are offline and another user is offline and they both do this, they will actually come, once they are online, they will come in the correct order back to the web page. So then we're going to store these two different places, the same message simultaneously. So what we're going to say, we construct this kind of updates object in JavaScript, and we define the paths that we want to save to. So we want to save to messages / the message ID, and user messages / the message ID. What's flickering? But yeah, and then we call database update, and that's it. There it is. That's all you need to do.
But it took you only 16 minutes to build Twitter. So how about, why don't we add it so that it becomes Snapchat?
Snapchat?
Yeah. Like you can also post images and, you know.
Sure. Yeah. Why not? Let's do that. So, to post images, what we want to do, anyone knows what we're going to use? Store and plop? Yes. We're going to use Firebase Storage. So as Matt already told you, Firebase Storage is Google Cloud Storage powered blob storage space. But with Firebase Storage, what you also get is these security rules that you can append to it. And again, you don't need to worry about CDN. You don't need to worry about where your users are coming from. They will always get that data as fast as possible and as efficiently as possible. And also, if you think about Instagram-like features or Instagram-like platforms, you always have the problem of scaling the storage. In this case, you don't need to really worry about it. Google takes care of that for you. So you can just grow out as much as you want, and you're good to go. So you don't need to worry about infrastructure cost, upfront cost, and all of these kind of things, which I think makes it pretty cool. I'm gonna show the demo now.
Yeah, just stop yapping and just, do the application.
Go for it. So what I'm gonna do is again, jump in time. Even though I'm now jumping fast, I actually did this full demo and the slides in less than 2 days, so it's possible. All of this is possible to do. So let's see. Our first step, now don't get burned, we will not. Again, this time we are gonna deploy some storage rules. So currently, Firebase storage rules look a bit different than Firebase database rules. But as soon as I can find them, there we go. So here we say that we allow users to upload to this uploads path, and with the user ID is the next folder in that path, and whatever timestamp and file name is the file itself. The timestamp is there because we don't currently, in this demo, we don't modify the inputted file name, so whatever file you choose will end up there, and the timestamp is to make sure that you don't overwrite your existing files. So that's the simplest Firebase rules. Again, we're gonna skip the local demo and deploy these things straight to the cloud. So again, we build our assets, we build our JavaScript, JS, minify them, and then upload them to the hosting. There we go. We're good to go. Then I'll just refresh, and we can see this small image icon here. So now I can click that, and let's select some non-adult content picture here. Good that the screen is almost running. Here we are at the Alps. Let's say it this way. Come on. Yes, thank you. We're getting pictures. What is going on with the screen? So there we go. And what the code actually does, here that we select that we want to upload the image, it actually inputs this kind of a spinner image first to the message object. And once the upload is finished, we're going to replace that spinner object or that placeholder image with the proper image. And this, yes, now we're going to talk. This is always dangerous to get public.
Excellent, Jari. This is how we roll.
Yes.
So
let me just.
So we are breaking the record here. So now it's been 20 minutes.
Thank you.
And now we have Twitter and we have a skeleton of a Snapchat. That's good going.
Yeah, I can show how that was done.
Yeah.
Quickly. Only thing that we needed to do is to extend our previous create message function a little bit. So you remember when we updated those two nodes, we called that update method. So now once we get a feedback that that object is actually updated, so that it's stored in the Firebase through promises, we take a reference to our uploads directory in the storage, and we create an upload task. We define that, hey, to this path, I want to upload this image object. And this data.image in this reference is the same file object that you get from your browser select file dialog. So there's nothing fancy of that. You just give that to Firebase, and Firebase knows how to handle it, uploads it to the storage, and notifies you once it's done. Now, once we get the storage back that we know that it's updated, we need to update the message object in our database so that it has the correct download URL for the image. So here we're just getting, from the metadata, we're getting the download URL, the first that there is, and we're going to update not the full message object. So we don't, here you can see that we don't have to fetch the original message object back, update it, and then store that back. What we do is we traverse the path. As we know, the message resides in message ID, and then inside that, there's keys. There are key value pairs. There's the body, username, password, UID, not password, but UID. And in this case, we're going to update the image URL from that particular object in that particular path. And that's it. Once we're done, we're done.
Excellent, Jari. So this is now 22 minutes we have been here, and now we have quite far. So, how about the social aspect of this application? Like, making friends in the application today?
I think, yeah, friends would be pretty cool.
Yeah, can you just do that for me, so then...
Sure. World can be a really dark place without friends. So let's add this feature that we enable you to make a lot of friends. Because there's no way for you to say no if someone asks you as a friend, which I think is pretty cool. It's going to change the social platforms. Everybody just wants to be friends with each other. So let's see. We take out the step 5 in this case. Quick overview of what the code says next. Oh, thank you. They like me already. Now we're going to do some database rules changes. I can quickly go through what we did. So we added this users friends node, and in here we say that everybody is allowed to write to that if you're an authenticated user. And only if I'm able to see my friends. So let me quickly get there, the deployment phase, so I can show you the code and how it actually works. Oh, am I not in internet? This is the best time to get a demo effect.
And not a problem, we got quite far already.
Yeah, we almost got through. Yep.
Okay, we call it a day. So this ties pretty well. So in 26 minutes, we created a skeleton of Twitter and Snapchat. We almost made it a social platform. So this begs the question that, you know, if Jeri, you did it in 24 minutes and 30 seconds, so what were these coders in Twitter and Snapchat doing so long to get started?
That's a really good question. What were they doing in previously? And what were you doing in previously?
Exactly. So in 24 minutes we did this. Imagine what this guy can do in an hour. So please give him a hand. This is Jeri from Qvik.
Thank you so much.